In a world where people are losing their minds, who will be the voice of sanity, of logic, of rationale, of morality and truth? This podcast is looking for like-minded people to stand up to the insane and be real. The Recovery Atheist podcast is calling you to step forward and be counted. Welcome to the voice of change. Welcome to the Recovery Atheist podcast.
Well, hello everybody out there in Podcast Nation. This is the Recovery Atheist coming to you from the Trey Entertainment Studios. And I just want to say that I am so happy that you've been able to join me for this next episode that I'm going to be going into here. Now, I've gotten kind of away from some of the AA stuff that I've been talking about, and I think it's about time I got back to it. I've gone through step 1 through 4. It's time to look at step 5 tonight. So I wanted to do step 5 from an atheist perspective. I've talked about it in the other podcast episodes that I've had about it, and how me as an atheist and not dealing with God or believing in God, and how we convert AA into an actual recovery program without that being the case. And I've been able to do it pretty well. I'm very happy and excited with where I'm at in my life involving AA on the whole. So I wanted to talk about it. Tonight we had a AA house meeting here at the house that I manage, and we were talking about Bill's story, and he's going through all the different steps that he did throughout his story. And for me, it was one of those things where it was like, okay, I think I need to, tap back into it and do step 5. So that's what I want to do. I want to get back into step 5 and start getting through the steps again. So with step 5, we pretty much know that we've done step 4. Step 4 is dealing with the personal inventory, writing down the things that we've done in our lives, the resentments, things of that nature, and things that we need to get better at and try to look at as being a whole entire personal inventory that we're having to do. So in step 5, it just says that step 5 is admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Now, to me, it's just admitting to me and my addiction, to ourselves, of course, is me, and to another human being, which ended up being my sponsor, Isaac. So we've gone through step 4. We've written everything down. We've done our resentments, we've done our fears, and we've done our sex inventory as part of step 4. We've got it all written down, so now that we can sit down and talk with another individual about these things and be able to get them out in the open. Now, Del, do I always have to do it with a sponsor? Is that the only way to do a step 5? Well, no, that's not the case. If you do have a sponsor and you are working the steps, I suggest that, yes, you do it with your sponsor. For some reason, they're having trust issues, and so they're not very comfortable with it. So what they do is they'll go to a minister or maybe a priest and tell them their 5th step, because they look at that individual as somebody who is clergy and is trustworthy and won't tell secrets. I wouldn't do it with a therapist. I wouldn't do it with a treatment counselor or a drug counselor or anything like that. I would do it with your sponsor, a priest, minister. Personally, I say do it with your sponsor. Because what a step 4, when you do it with your sponsor, what it does is it gives you even more of a relationship with your sponsor. And what I mean by that is, we have a lot of fears that when we're telling our step 4 that we're going to be judged for what we say in these things. So, but the problem is, or the thing is that they really don't. they're looking at it from their side. They've probably, the stuff you're telling them, they've probably done the same things and can relate to it. And when you do that step 4, that's what it does. It allows you to realize that you're not alone, that there's other people that have done the same things, if not worse than you have, and allows you to realize that you can let these things go. So according to the Big Book, it says, have we made our personal inventory? What shall we do about it? We've been trying to get a new attitude and a relationship with our Creator and to discover the obstacles in our path. We have admitted certain defects. We have ascertained in a rough way what the trouble is. We have put our finger on the weak items in our personal inventory. Now these are about to be cast out. This requires action on our part, which when completed will mean that we have admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our defects. This brings us to the 5th step in the program of recovery mentioned in the preceding chapter. Now, this is perhaps difficult, especially discussing our defects with another person. We think we have done well enough in admitting these things to ourselves. There is doubt about that. In actual practice, we usually find a solitary self-appraisal insufficient. Many of us thought it necessary to go further. We will be more reconciled to discussing ourselves with another person when we see a good reason why we should do so. The best reason first is if we skip this vital step, we may not overcome drinking. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives. Trying to avoid this humbling experience, they have turned to easier methods. Almost invariably, they got drunk. Having persevered with the rest of the program, they wondered why they fell. We think the reason is that they never completed their house cleaning. They took inventory all right, but hung on to some of the worst items in stock. They only thought that they had lost their egoism and fear. They only thought they had humbled themselves, but they had not learned enough of humility, fearlessness, and honesty in the sense we find it necessary until they told someone else all their life story. More than most people, the alcoholic leads a double life. He is very much the actor. To the outer world, he presents his stage character. This is the one he likes his fellows to see. He wants to enjoy a certain reputation, but knows in his heart he doesn't deserve it. The inconsistency is made worse by the things he does on his sprees. Coming to his senses, he is revolted at certain episodes that he vaguely remembers. These memories are nightmares. He trembles to think someone might have observed him. As fast as he can, he pushes through these memories far inside himself. He hopes they will never see the light of day. He is under constant fear and tension, and that makes for more drinking. Psychologists are inclined to agree with us. We have spent thousands of dollars for examinations. We know but few instances where we have given these doctors a fair break. We have seldom told them the whole truth, nor have we followed their advice. Unwilling to be honest. You hear that? Unwilling to be honest with these sympathetic men, we were honest with nobody else, no one else. Small wonder many in the medical profession have a low opinion of alcoholics and their chance of recovery. Now, this was written back in the mid-1930s, and back then, outside of the doctor's opinion that is in the Big Book that was written from Dr. Silkworth, doctors at that time thought that you were done. You were either going to die or you're going to be in a sanitarium, which is an asylum, the rest of your life, because it would make you crazy. Boy, I'm glad that that has changed over the years. Now, this next line I have circled because it's very important. We talk about in AA about how. How is this done? Well, it's done with honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. HOW. That's how you do it. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. We must be entirely honest with somebody if we expect to live long or happily in this world. Rightly and naturally, we think well before we choose, the person or persons with whom to take this intimate and confidential step. Those of us belonging to a religious denomination which requires confession must, and of course, will want to go to the properly appointed authority whose duty it is to receive it. Though we have no religious connection, we may still do well to talk with someone ordained by an established religion. We often find such a person quick to see and understand our problem. Of course, we sometimes encounter people who do not understand alcoholics. If we cannot or would not rather do this, we search our acquaintance for a closed-mouth, understanding friend. Now, this is where we go into the sponsorship part of it. Now, I want to say this about the big book. Nowhere, anywhere in the big book does it talk about needing to have a sponsor or sponsorship. And this is something that is argued all the time amongst people in AA groups, of just how important a sponsor is. And I'm one of them that has fought and said, you know, I really don't need a sponsor. It's not even really in the book. It just says that two alcoholics coming together to talk is enough. Well, the whole point of sponsorship is somebody who has taken the path before you, that knows how to work the steps correctly, passing it down to you for you to be able to do the same way. You're not going to have the same recovery as your sponsor, but you're going to know what the steps are and how to work them correctly. And then eventually you pass them on to the next person, you know, a sponsee that you have. So it's all about gradually paying it forward, paying it forward, paying it forward. We're constantly going out and finding that next alcoholic to bring them into the fold, to give them help. If we cannot or would not rather do this, we search an acquaintance for a closed-mouth, understanding friend. Perhaps our doctor or psychologist will be the person. I don't suggest that personally. I just don't. It may be one of our own family. No. The answer to that is no. Don't go to your family member. I'm just going to say that. I don't care. I'm just going to say it. Don't go to a family member. They know you too well. They probably know some of the stuff you're going to say, and it could do damage not only to you but to them as well, especially if you're bringing up stuff they don't know about. Don't go to a family member. Not a good idea. Don't go to a wife, girlfriend. Not a good idea. Okay? Remember, later on in the steps, we make amends wherever we can, except, you know, it would do harm to them or yourself. So don't go to someone where you're going to be letting out things that this person doesn't know about, and it's going to do harm. That's not a good idea. You're not helping the situation. You're definitely not helping yourself in it. It may be one of our own family, but we cannot disclose anything to our wives or our parents which will hurt them and make them unhappy. So really, when I think about that, when you're working a fifth step, you're supposed to be getting out all this stuff and getting rid of all the baggage and the garbage and the weight that's on top of you, all the stuff that nobody knows about. So really, is it smart to go to a family member, a wife, or a parent? Because you can't let out anything that would hurt them or make them unhappy. And I can guarantee you, most of us that are in recovery doing this have some things that are going to be hard that we're going to have to make amends about later on down the road in step 9, that this is not the time to do it. Nowhere are we prepared to know how to talk with them in step 5 about, you know, how to bring it up to them what we've done. Nowhere near it. We're still trying to get better ourselves and wrapping our own brains around it. We have no right to save our own skin at another person's expense. Such parts of our story we tell to someone who will understand yet be unaffected, a sponsor. The rule is we must be hard on ourselves, but always considerate of others. Notwithstanding the great necessity for discussing ourselves with someone, it may be one is so situated that there is no suitable person available. If that is so this step may be postponed. So say you're in treatment or you're in a small town where there's not an AA meeting and there's no one around to be able to do it, you can postpone it until you find that. But you need to, once you do find it, you need to get on top of that and do it. So if that is so, this step may be postponed. Only, however, if we hold ourselves in complete readiness to go with it at its first opportunity. So the minute it presents itself to you that you have someone that you can do it with, you need to do it, and you need to get it done and over with. We need to go after these steps, as it says in the big book, with the desperation of a drowning man. If you're drowning in the water and someone says, hey, can I be of help? You don't sit there and go, no, I think I'm going to sit here and drown for a month. You say, yes, please help me, get me out of here. We need to have that kind of desperation when it comes to working these steps. We say this because we are very anxious that we talk to the right person. It is important that he be able to keep a confidence, that he fully understand and approve what we are driving at, that he will not try to change our plan, but we must not use this as a mere excuse to postpone. Don't procrastinate. I see guys doing their 4th step and they're trying to finish it up, and then they're trying to get in the 5th step, and they just take months and months. Well, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. No, you're afraid. Let's call it for what it is. Let's stop with the bullshit. I call bullshit. You're fucking afraid. You've got fear involved. You don't want to see yourself for what it is and let somebody else know the piece of shit that you are. I get it. I've had to do it myself. I've had to sit down and tell somebody else, Isaac, my sponsor, all the bad things that are in my closet. And I have to let it go. And that is a scary thing. No one ever said doing a 4 and 5 is easy, but it's the most freeing. It's the most freeing. It frees you. It gives you peace once you get through that, to where you get to move on. You know, when you get to 4 and 5, it's about finally getting through all that nastiness to go into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to become a better person. It is so important to get through this step. Stop putting it off. When we decide who is to hear our story, we waste no time. Like when I had mine done, my step 4, it was like, all right, Isaac, we need to get on this. Let's get this done. Now, it took a couple sessions to get it completely done because I had quite a bit to talk about. So I wanted to make sure I was thorough. We need to be rigorously honest and thorough with it, okay? We can't just leave things out. If we leave things out, that's going to trip us up later, okay? We have written inventory. We are prepared for a long talk. We explain to our partner what we are about to do and why we have to do it. He should realize that we are engaged upon a life and death errand. So a sponsor is going to understand that. He's going to know, or she is going to know, what you're doing. Most people approached in this way will be glad to help. They will be honored by our confidence. We pocket our pride and we go for it, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of the past. Once we have taken this step, withholding nothing, we are delighted. We can look the world in the eye. We can be alone at perfect peace and ease. Our fears fall from us. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. The feeling that the drink problem had disappeared will often come strongly. We feel we are on the broad highway walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. Now, as an atheist, this is where, I'm saying it from an atheist perspective. For the atheist, this is a lot of mumbo jumbo, right? It's like, yeah, this is some bullshit going on here. You've got to look at these, and first off, don't take it so literal. Don't take your spiritual beliefs or what you have had for beliefs of what religion is and past bad experiences you've had. You've got to look at it from a different mind now. You have to open your mind up to find a different way to perceive this passage. Okay, first off, by doing this, we can look the world in the eye, which is what I'm able to do today. I'm able to look the world in the eye and say that I am a good person. I am doing what I need to do to make me better. in this world, that I am authentic and real and trustworthy and honest. I don't lie. I don't do any of that. I am straightforward and honest. And what I love about that is when you tell the truth doesn't have to be defended. You know what you've been doing, regardless of what anybody else says about you. In your heart, if you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're doing the right thing, fuck them. You've got nothing to apologize for. And today I don't. Do I have little hiccups where I make mistakes? Well, of course. Of course, I make mistakes. I'm human, right? But today, I am humble enough to be able to see that mistake and admit promptly that I'm wrong in that mistake and come back and make it right and get better at not having it happen again. That's the whole point of these steps, is to become better. To get sober and become a better person, a better man, a better woman. We can be alone at perfect peace and ease, which I am now. I feel at ease and just peaceful. You know, I have my days, my bad days. I have days where things are not going as great as I would like them to be. But I have ways of getting through that today where, you know, this too shall pass and I'll be fine and things will go forward. And I'm able to use the principles that I have in this program to help me understand that this is just temporary. I don't have to destroy my entire life over a little hiccup. And then when it goes into the nearness of our Creator, spiritual beliefs, spiritual experience, drink problem has disappeared with alpha calm strongly. We feel that we are on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. However you want to look at that, you can. For me, I just say it's just that I am starting to walk a road of humanity, a road of goodness, and I'm trying to help others, not just myself. I'm just becoming a better human. So I'm walking this highway to be better and be able to be of help in humanity in our society. And then walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. For me, that spirit is just the people that are around me, my AA fellows, people that are positive, my family, good people in my life that have helped me get through this situation and has followed me along this journey. Those people, you know, I will walk hand in hand with them. They are my spirit. So there's ways that you can look at this without having it to be capital G-O-D. Without having to revert back to, you know, nasty memories or things that you have against religion and all of that. There's ways that you can turn this around to make it work for you. Stop overthinking it. Simplify it. Don't let that stuff get in the way and shackle you, paralyze you just because of a few words in a book that was written in the 1930s when that's really all they knew. Obviously, in the world we live in today, it's a more progressive country and a world. And we don't have to necessarily use words that they used back then. Hell, if you read this book is written in some spots in like Old English. We don't talk like, some of the passages in here, we don't talk like that anymore. So don't get hung up on it, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? Returning home, and this is after you get done with your fifth step, this is what I did when I got done with my fifth step. Returning home, we find a place where we can be quiet for an hour, carefully reviewing what we have done. Now it says we thank God from the bottom of our hearts. I think the AA program and the solution that's in this big book from the bottom of my heart. See how I switched that? Instead of saying God, I thank AA and the people that are in there and my sponsor from the bottom of my heart for showing me this solution. And that I know this program better. And it says we thank God from the bottom of our heart that we know him better. That I know this program and this AA and the solution better. I take this book down from off our shelf. We turn to the page which contains the 12 steps. Carefully reading the first 5 proposals, we ask if we've omitted anything. Have we forgotten to put anything in the inventory? For we are building an arch through which we shall walk, a free man at last. I love that line. We are a free man at last. When we're able to get through this and move into step 6, we're becoming free men. We no longer have to be chained with our addiction. Okay, I hear people all the time where they want to argue about it in AA, and I hear it all the time. I won't say it, but there's people that say, Del, I'm an alcoholic in recovery. Well, that's fine at the beginning. But as you gradually get through the steps and you get sober time under your belt, you recover. It says it right here in the big book that we recover. It doesn't say that we're always going to be in recovery. It says we recover. That really bothers me at times when I hear people say that all the time, and they've got 12 years sober, and it's like, really? You have recovered from that malady, that malady that has caused you to be drinking and everything like that. You have been restored from a bad way of thinking in your mind. And that's the part that I just don't understand, why some people continually say that I'm in recovery. Not the case. When it comes down to it and you do this right, you will recover. All right, so once we do that and we become free men, is our work solid so far? Are the stones properly in place? Have we skimped on the cement put into the foundation? Have we tried to make mortar without sand? If we can answer to our satisfaction, the answer to that is yes, we've done everything we've needed to do with this step, we then get to move on to step 6. So from that reading, it's telling me that if we do this and we do it correctly, if we're rigorously honest about it and we get everything out that we need to get out into the open and release all the baggage and the resentments and the fears and the sex inventory and everything else and get it out in the open and get it free, that we will become free and we will have a better chance to recover. So that's why when I see guys, and I'll see them in our sober living homes, we'll be in a house meeting or whatever, and we go around to each guy and we say, how many meetings we went to for the week, who our sponsor is, did we meet with our sponsor, and then also what step we're on. Okay? And there's guys, I get really excited. They're on step 3, and then all of a sudden I hear them, we go into the house meeting, and I hear them that week say, I'm on step 4, and I really am excited when I hear that, because this is when the freedom starts. This is when you start cleaning up your side of the road, at least getting it, caught up and on the curb, so you can see what it is to eventually down the road get rid of your shortcomings, your character flaws and defects, work out a list of amends, and then in step 9 make those amends so you can take all that trash that's on your curb on your side of the street and just get rid of it. So when I hear that, I'm like, yes, this person is about ready to see a change. For me personally, around, when you get through step 4, 5 into 6, that's when, for me, it seems like things start freeing up. That if there is a spiritual experience, that's when it happened for me. That's when the psychic change started to happen. Because usually when I get through 1 through 3, I'm fighting so much with the God concept and everything else that I can't seem to get beyond that and get to 4. But this time I broke through. I broke through and turning it into something different. Instead of God, I turned it into my own understanding and conception of what a higher power would be, which for me is science. I can't control gravity or physics or the sun, there's tons of stuff in science. There's tons of stuff in the world. I can't control my boss. I can't control the court systems with my DWI and my 2 years of probation. There's many things out there that have more control than I have, so I can definitely say they're higher powers. So I worked through, and when I got into 4 and was able to start doing and just be honest about it and let this shit go, that's when I truly feel the changes started to really happen. So I hear these guys, yeah, I'm on step 4, I'm on step 4, and I'm so excited for them because, like, yes, the real work begins now. And like 2 months later, we're in house meeting, and they're asking him, well, what step you're on? Oh, I'm still on 4. Well, have you talked with your sponsor about it? Really haven't talked to him lately. Really. So many people get to step 4, and it's like they shut down and stop. Stop being afraid of it. And the thing is I don't know. I mean, I think it's both ways this way. I think some of you are afraid of it because you don't want to let all the dark secrets out. I think some of it, you are afraid of it because you know when you get to the other side of that, there is going to be a change that happens, and you don't want to give up your drug of choice. You still have reservations of whether or not you truly want to be sober or not. And you're like, this is too much work for someone who I really don't know if I'm done yet. In my opinion with that, why are you wasting your sponsor's time? Honestly. That sponsor of yours, you're taking advantage and being very selfish. That person can be working with somebody else who actually wants to get the freedom. If you have any reservations with this program's not going to work. I know that from my own experience. I would go into each one of these with reservations of, oh, maybe this time I'll figure out how to drink like normal people. And every time I'd go back out and relapse. This time I have gotten into it to where I have no reservations. I know without a doubt, there is no way I can drink. And I have just made up my mind on that. It is solid as a rock, and I'm okay with it. I'm at peace with it. I can't drink. Done. Finito. Finished. And it's amazing when you're able to finally say that and do that, everything else becomes so much easier. Make up your mind. You either want it or you don't. And step 4 is where it really gets to the nitty-gritty. It's where the rubber hits the road. You've got to figure out what you want. Because if you're taking months and months and months to do a step 4, you're not growing. You're done. You might as well just go back out. Got to keep it moving. Got to keep it moving, people. You can't get stale in this. You can't just freeze and just stay stuck. You've got to keep moving forward with these steps. AA step 5 is often called confession. In this step, we admit to God, to ourselves, and to another person, being the exact nature of our wrongs. This step follows a written inventory of our wrongs that is critical to share as soon as possible. As soon as possible. How long have I been living alone with my secrets and wrongs? How do I feel about admitting my wrongs, my secrets, to another? Am I ready to share and let go of anything that hinders my recovery? What reservations do I have about working my 5th step? These are good questions. These are questions that we need to be able to answer to be able to move on. Now, why do you think it is so much trouble for people to do this step, to move on to the next? Am I ready to share and let go of anything that hinders my recovery? What reservations do I have? Can I acknowledge and accept the exact nature of my wrongs? Are you able to be honest and honestly look at yourself and say, you were wrong? A real man can. A real person, a human, it don't matter, man or woman, can be honest and admit what their wrong was. If you can't, you're not someone I would trust. I have more respect for people who are able to admit when they're wrong in that moment and make a change. And that's what I do. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Shit. My attitude goes off base. I get my ego out there, or I get angry. I've done it at work. I've done it in the houses I've lived in. If I get angry or whatever and they're calling me on it and I sit there and look at it, I'll be like, fuck. Fuck. You got me. Fucking wrong. I need to look at it. I need to do something different. Are you willing to do that? Again, honesty, open-mindedness, willingness. Are you willing? Do I believe that working my fifth step will make my life better, and how? If you don't believe what you're going to get when you do a fifth step is going to be positive or good, you're not going to do it. Okay? You need to have belief in it, that you're going to do it and this is going to free you. And I would say talk with your sponsor about it, talk with other AA people that have numerous years of sobriety and talk with them about it and get some understanding from them. Talk to, if you're living in a sober living home, talk with the other guys who've been through step 4. Really look at it and go, do I really believe in this? Because if you don't, if you go in half-assed, it's not going to work. Did I set a time and place for my fifth step, when and where? So the minute you're done with that, you need to let your sponsor know, hey, I'm done with my fourth step. When can we get together? Sooner the better. Sooner the better. How has my view of myself changed after working step 5? You need to look at that. So you get through step 5, you come to the other side. How do you feel? Now, I'll give my own testimony in this. When I got through it, sure, there were some things about me that after I got done and I had said it out loud, I looked at myself and I looked at it and said, oh, you were a shitty person, and felt kind of bad about it. But the biggest thing that I took away from it, once I got beyond that, and my sponsor's like, Dell, that's what this step is for, is to get rid of that, is I felt lighter. I felt like weight was lifted off my shoulders, that somebody else knows my wrongs, and the stuff I did, a lot of the stuff I did and the way I acted, Isaac did too. My sponsor did too, which made me feel like, oh, I'm not unique. Other people go through this when they are going through recovery, have to say this stuff, and other people have done the same things that I have done when I've been out using. And that just makes me feel like, I have a chance, because like with Isaac, he, has got almost 8 years sober, and it's like, if he can do it, I can do it. He's done the same things I've done. I can change. I can make things right by working these steps. And so I felt freer. I felt like I was free. Did I forget or admit anything? Did I forget something in it that I need to let go, that I'm holding on to? You hold on to that secret, it's like a cancer. It festers, and you're going to be having resentments and regrets over leaving that out. It's just the truth. If I am still clinging to something that doesn't work, am I willing to ask for help and letting it go? If there is something, like for me, it's ego, my patience, intolerance of people, my judging. I like to judge people unfairly because of past experiences that have conditioned me to not give people the benefit of the doubt. When I have issues like that, it allows me to go to Isaac and other people that I know in the recovery community I have, to be able to talk about it and be like, I need to get better at this. So after you complete the step 5, it's faith without works is what it's saying here. Your drastic self-appraisal is done, right? You've looked at everything. It's out in the open. Congrats. Congratulations to you. You've gotten through one of the toughest things you're going to do in your life. but one of the most freeing. You've taken an action to sweep away the debris that accumulated while living a life run on self-will. I don't know about you, but that was me. I ran my life according to what I wanted, and it was chaos. Self-run riot. A tornado just leaving destruction behind. Get ready to expect the unexpected. After living in fear of the other shoe dropping for so long, you may be pleasantly surprised to find out that what begins in pain ends in serenity. This is the interesting paradox of recovery. You will probably feel for the first time that you are able to acknowledge that you are okay, just as you are right in that moment. By accepting yourself as you are today, it doesn't mean that you're going to stop striving for improvement. You will now be free to go further in life than you ever have before. With each step that we take in this program, okay, we deepen our real practical commitment to the program and to recovery. Getting a sponsor, working the steps, finding a home group, having a commitment and going to meetings, each one of these very simple actions keeps us on the path of freedom and a new way of living. That's what these steps are about. It's to give us freedom and to learn a new way of life. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was using, it's time for me to get a little real, little authentic, little transparent. When I was using, I was not free. I was chained. I didn't know how to live life. I said it tonight in our AA meeting here at the house. I said that I'm growing up now. Because I was a 44-year-old child. That's just the truth. I was a 44-year-old child who was scared and frightened, didn't know what to do. And because I was scared and frightened, I'd lash out at other people, steal from other people, hurt other people. Because if you're going to hurt me, I'm going to hurt you first. And I didn't want to face reality of what I had become. So put me inside of a vodka bottle so I can just get rid of everything, numb everything, and not have to remember about who this piece of shit is that everyone is seeing that I'm looking at in the mirror. I'm free of that today. I don't look at myself that way anymore. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm a great guy. I am a guy that brings something to the table, who has something to offer. I'm a guy that is compassionate, that cares about others, who has empathy. A guy who is willing to help his fellow man, woman, when they need to have help. Willing to be there as a supportive shoulder to cry on. A person who will support you through your recovery, because I know I've been through the same thing you're going through. We are not alone in this. Don't ever feel that way. Don't ever feel that you're alone. You're not. Millions of people have gone through these steps and have found peace, contentment, freedom from these steps. Just because you're an atheist doesn't mean you don't have the ability to have the same, or that you don't deserve the same because you don't believe in a God. No, you do. And you can do it as an atheist with these steps. You can always get a hold of me through Del Bacon on Facebook. I have the Recovery Atheist group page that's off that. You can email me at therecoveryatheist@gmail.com. Talk to me. I will help you understand and get through this time that you're going through. None of us are alone. We are special people, all of us. You might be sitting there right now and saying that you don't deserve a second chance, third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance, or in my case, this is my eighth. But you do. No matter what you've done in the past, I don't care. You deserve to have a better life. You deserve freedom from this. You deserve love and friendship, connection. I was talking on my last podcast about that with Jay in his podcast, which is called Choose Your Struggles, or Choose Your Struggle podcast. And it's connection is huge. You're not alone in this. Connect with people who have been through the things that you're going through. Maybe they have some help they can give you to get you through some tough times. Don't give up. Do not give up. If you're high right now, if you're drunk right now listening to me, remember, we've all been knocked down. I've been knocked down numerous times. It's not about how many times you get knocked down. I know it's a cliche saying, but it's about how many times you get back up. Each time that I've gotten knocked down over these last few years, each time I've gone to treatment, each time I've gotten back up, I have gotten better each time. And finally, this time it's clicking. Finally. I don't have to fall down anymore. I get to stand up, and I get to stand up strong and proud and be able to help others. I know that that's what you want to do. If you're sitting right now in your use, you're in a haze right now from it, and your life just doesn't seem to be going the way that you want it to go, it's not over. You can change that. The biggest question is are you willing to? Are you willing to get honest, have an open mind, listen to instructions and guidance and what people tell you need to do with that, and be willing to humble yourself to get the help you need? I had to. There's many friends of mine here in Duluth and the sober community here as well that has had to. It's just an amazing experience and feeling when you're able to get beyond all the ego and the self-centeredness and just get down to the nitty-gritty of who you are and just be real. Be authentic. That's the person I want to see. And I'm sure others do too. So, to my friends out there in Podcast Nation who are stuck on step 4, it's time to get moving. Pitter patter. Let's get at her. Keep her moving. Gotta do it. Stop waiting. No reason to. Get moving with it. It's time to change your life. It's time to get that freedom and that peace that you're needing. Because right now, I guarantee you, if you're putting it off, you're not feeling any peace. You're feeling pretty anxious. It's time to get it over with. It's time to get your life back straight. It's time to become the better you that you deserved all along. Can you do that with me? Can you come along on the ride of recovery with me? Come on the journey with me. Guarantee you, you will not regret it. You'll enjoy the ride. So, just want to thank everybody out there for tuning into my episode. And again, that was the 5th step from a atheist perspective. Here in the future, I'm going to be doing more interviews and other step work, podcasts and other things coming up. The studio I'm in right now is about 25-30% completed. In the middle of remodeling it. I'm very excited about it. I am blessed now that I have decided to go down the road of recovery. I've got 10 months sober, moving onwards and upwards, trying to get to that year spot, and as long as I take each day at 24 hours and take it one day at a time, I know I'll get there. So, just exciting times. New year, Let's make it a better one, right? All right. So, like I said, find me on Del Bacon on Facebook. Recovery Atheist group page I have as well on there. You can email me at therecoveryatheist@gmail.com. You can find my YouTube channel as well. It's the Recovery Atheist channel. Got a lot of good videos up there. And then also, you can take me on the go when you're on the go anywhere. I mean, I'm on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Deezer. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Apple Podcasts. It's just crazy. Apple. It's just crazy how many I'm on. Take me on the go when you're on the go. Hope you do. Hope everyone has a great week the rest of this week. Be safe. Wear your masks. Try to help somebody out today and love each other. Talk to you later. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Recovery Atheist podcast. It's now up to you. What will you do with what you've heard? How will you use it? I challenge you not to stay silent. Be heard. Be real. Be different.